Hi everyone, it's Tracy here from Art Fibers Stitch, and we're just following on from the last video I did where I was showing you how you can make a really nice background. I did it on two different fabrics. I did it with my Inktense dye sticks, and I made one on linen and one on calico. So let's now discuss some ideas on what you could do once you have your background. There are no patterns for these kind of things. They're a real exercise in creativity and making art. And we're going to learn about fabric manipulation today and layering. So what can we see? I see a line there, so I think that's like a horizon actually. This could be a field, or it could be a pond or a river, and that could be the reflection of what's above that line, or we could obscure that line. These are definitely lovely trees, like them. Or we can just have what I originally planned was just hills. Let's try and do something anyway. I'm thinking to bring out those purples a little bit. So I've just grabbed something out of my purple pink bin. That one's got navy and a pattern on it, but you know, maybe you wouldn't notice it if it was underneath and you were just showing bits of it. This is a brighter version of that colour, you see, much better. And this one's a glittery pink one. I have no idea. Alright, something there. I suppose I should decide first. I do want there to be sky and some lovely trees disappearing. I don't like that this has that too stronger line there, too stronger colour. I'm going to do some of this that we were talking about, where I'm just going to manipulate the threads. What it ends up looking like is can you see? Now if I put something underneath that, for example, that shows through, and already it's changed it, you see. So I'll be doing something like that. So I'll just make some more little areas. You know, you can see the white through there maybe. I'll come back to you. Now the anatomy of the warp and weft like this means that even when I pull it apart, I've got some strands in there, you know. I was just wondering, what about if I decided like to take an area out, and this is not the best thing to use. I'm going to take that one thread, I think it's one, may not be. I'm going to pull it out, and that gives me a line. So these are ways that you can play with this fabric and get something different happening. I might try and do some lines just there underneath where our horizon is. So I'll just pull some threads out. And they can all be pushed around where we want, but I quite liked the idea that we had. Let's try this navy and see what it does. You see how we've picked out either the trees, or if it is a creek or something, perhaps that's the rocky bank. And our lines across here, maybe a few more lines, suggesting the ripples, maybe. Letting something through anyway. So that's why I like to play with the linen and see where it leads me. So that one there would be loads of fun. This one here that we also did, what would I stitch here? Very little, I think. I'd be putting in that horizon with a running stitch. I'd be doing the same here, marking out some of these hills, doing some lovely grasses that went quite high. So these are the different, this is easy to pick up. This one would need to have a something underneath it where we trapped layers underneath. I think this is going to be absolutely gorgeous. This one doesn't impress me very much, but maybe we can do something. Just not now. What I'm trying to do is to pull this weave apart, so that I can produce trees or something there. Sometimes then I'll do a running stitch across and make it stay like that, because it does want to spring back. But because it's so floppy, I could actually do a lot of things. Be interesting too to put some sort of padding under it and raise some bits and, you know, make it three-dimensional. We could do that. Even something like this could be useful. This looks very subdued to me. That's why I don't want to bring something into it. I mean, at the very least, it tells me, would pink be nice? I could have green showing here, pink showing here, things like that. Or I could use some of it on the top. So many interesting pieces in this when you get one of these. I really think I could use some of it, but I want to have more showing. You know what? I'm just going to cut like that. And then I can just tear these edges a bit so that they become something else entirely. Oh, and then I'd have a little bit of that poking through. Isn't that nice? So it will go through many different stages. And what I think I want. And I think the very first part would be, you know, trying this. I quite like that idea, because then I can have a stronger colour behind. And this is very muted. I don't want it to be too harsh. So I would try all different areas. Don't really see that one. Pink. It Alright, stop being ridiculous. I'm going to have to make some decisions and just go for it, I think. So I can cut a bit out. Let's just try it here, actually. How about I just cut a bit out like that and see what happens. Cut out a little whatever. Now I can pull it and poke it and turn it into something else. See? Shape it later, but this brown on top, I'm thinking that's definitely some trees. Let's do something like that to show some of the leaves. Just pull that weave apart. This really is turning into a... It started off as a rag that I used to dye things with. It's certainly becoming that now. A bit more there somewhere, and then I'll see what I can do. Put things underneath. See where I'm going with this. It can still at any stage change from fields to that stream that I was thinking about. But I think that's enough at the moment for me to make some decisions about where I'll put things. Where does it end, you know? Does it end here? And so I don't get confused, I'm just going to take this white off here. I'm not being very careful at the moment, but it's kind of following that grain, that thread that's going through. Okay, crazy lady, now what? When I do something, it isn't really preconceived. I work it out as I go. So we're on a bit of a journey. I have decided I'm going to make this the stream. If you ever do anything like this, it's always narrower here in the back, and it's got perspective. When you look at it, you see that it's wider in the foreground. So rather than just have those straight lines, I'm just doing a bit of something there, so it looks more like ripples. Okay. Now how do we make all these things look like what I'm talking about? Well, that is the trick. So one of my ideas was, as I said, I'll put some colour underneath some bits that I want to come through, you know. So with this being water, I would also try and make it look watery colours. That would help suggest it. And I've also come up with the idea of perhaps, you know, sometimes we might want something underneath it. Let's see if I can get that. Sometimes it could be on top, sometimes it could be underneath. Yeah, but something like that, so that it sometimes shows underneath and that's sometimes on top. That could work good too. Actually, this would be great. You could felt through this onto a felt background. Lots of things. I haven't done any needle felting in ages. Alright, so I'm going to use some of that. I need something to put this on. Haven't decided what, but something, because this is going to be going all over the place, this. What colours do we have? A little pink there, greens, aqua, it's quite nice, blues there, maybe I'll take something like that to start with. So I'll trim it up later to make it pretty. So I've got my pinky colour that I was after. I can also just poke a few holes in there. And if I really wanted to, and I don't know that I do, I could put something like that underneath, so that when it does open up, it'll have those tiny bits of glittery pink. You wouldn't even notice it, would you? But more of them, yeah, I think that'd be quite nice. Something like that. Maybe some of this wool that will couch. Do we have greeny colours underneath here? That's kind of what I'm after. Oh yeah, greeny blue. If I didn't have what I wanted, I'd just poke something else under there. Okay, I think there's a big patch of, no, there isn't. Let's bring it down. Some blue just there. Just going to cut something out that. Maybe get some blue bits showing. You'll be really surprised if I do make this work, won't you? I know I will be. I'm only doing it really because this all looked a wee bit like it needed more depth of colour. It was very pale, very pastel-y. I don't know, I want something in there. Alright, can it stand more? I think it can. Just picking up some of these threads that go that way. I think I'm almost ready for the stitching part. I'll keep fiddling, but I just thought you might have to have a look at some larger photos where we're going to have a look and see what I'm trying to portray. Can you see little bits poking out, things that are sort of obscured but also underneath and on top? I think it's a great start. So if you'd like to see what I do next week, I'm going to be stitching it and finishing this off. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe.